Divine Leader, welcome to this episode on magnetizing money at the speed of light. A client case study about 2.5xing, 2.5 times xing income and impact with Susan Glusica. So I'm so excited to be joined by my friend, client, colleague, Susan. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
And you are really a stand for unapologetic prosperity, which I just love. I feel like our missions are so aligned in that way. And you have been a graduate, a client of our Divine Light Activation program, and then also our Magdalene Codes program. And those are really kind of our ways of turning on your energy vortex or your light and love bodies, so that all that you're doing on the physical plane is amplified by the energy. And so I'm really excited to be kind of going deep into the connection between energy and physical plane results. So would you just share a little bit about, and we've kind of already said it, that you 2.6x your income, but just a little bit about kind of what you experienced from working together.
Yeah. So, I've heard a lot about light codes. I play in energy. I've been playing in energy for a while now, since at least 2011. I have my own signature discovery in money and money energy. Bringing a whole career's worth of experience to the table on the money side. And so I was actually, when you were promoting your DLA, the Divine Light Activation, I was kind of intrigued as to, well, can I plug into this speed of light process? I love money, loves speed. I love speed. I should have been an efficiency expert, right? Because I love to see how can we do more, in less time. How can we bend time? How can we play with that element? It's a human construct anyway. And so, your marketing really resonated, your promotional content really resonated with me, because that was exactly what I was looking for at the time. And I just stepped into DLA, really with no perhaps expectations, but totally open to whatever magic was going to unfold and be, connected to me through your program. And let's just say I was pleasantly, not surprised, but like had it pleasantly confirmed that this really works to exponentially expand. Really, it's exponentially expanding your receiving capacity, because we only receive to our capacity. So when you're able to do that energetically, then it all fills in, and it fills in really quickly, or it can. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you experience like your best money month, and then also kind of 2x and 2.5 or 2.6x, and then also like stabilize that growth. So would you just share a little?
Yeah. So, and much of this was not conscious. I want to say, like, there's a part of us that kind of, needs to know. Well, when you can release that part of you, you can open up to these other dimensions of creating and co-creating with the universe and all there is. And so when I truly stepped into that through your programs and got clear, on how to truly expand the heart, through your Magdalene codes, that was very impactful as well. It did enable me to have my biggest month to date. Now, I have to clarify, the prior year was a really big money year, but not through my business, through all these other different avenues and a lot of windfall energy and so forth. But in terms of my business, it was the biggest month I had to date. And I have two businesses, but primarily right now it's driven by the coaching business in terms of that exponential piece. And so then, tracking all what you track grows, right? And what gets tracked gets done, right? So I'm a big tracker of the money. So Danielle and I, we were talking about the results that I've had since the program. And I have to say, like, my first month was like a 5K month last year, earlier this year, rather. And then I had in 3 months' time, through working with you, 70K month. That's quite a big transformation. And then it kind of settled, where it was a little less than that, but it was very consistent through the rest of the year, pretty much. I launched a mastermind, which helped with that regard of having recurring revenue, but I had the courage to. I had been planning to do that for a year. I finally had the courage to do that. So that was a big piece of the puzzle that dropped in during that work together. And just that invitation to step into truth with trust and faith and belief, right? Like, that was what really, for me, dropped in during our work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as we're speaking about divine light activation business upgrade, it's also really where you activate your business as its own being of light and up level the energy of your mission. And so I know we're kind of entering into this conversation around money and don't worry, hang on. We're going to do some really cool magnetizing for each of you that are tuning in here to magnetize money and mission at the speed of light. Yeah, there's also the component of mission. And I remember when we were talking about it, you were like, I fell in love with my mission again. And that there really is this amplification of your mission, as well as a couple other things that I feel like are related to when you activate your business as a being of light. It's not all on your shoulders. Then the business starts magnetizing 24/7. And it also seemed like there was this ripple effect of your mission, but then also really holding clear boundaries or standards or ways of being an amplification of leadership. Yeah. So is there more?
Yeah. And to that point, to that final point of the leadership piece, which is really important because, in all of our businesses, yes, we're here to serve and have an impact and walk our mission. We're also here to lead, right? What I lead people through is, how do you lead your money with your energy, right? What you lead people through is a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Like a lot. Your programs are really comprehensive. So I'm a good follower as well as a strong leader. So in your program, this is why we do multi-dimensional, right? In your program, I was a really awesome follower because you were such a good leader, right? And you demonstrate everything that you teach and preach, and you walk your talk. And I love that about your leadership. And it actually made my leadership stronger as well when we activated the business, the two businesses as entities in and of themselves. They started to really make their requirements, right, and their preferences known. And that was part of why it was easier then to launch my mastermind when I had been resisting it for a whole year prior, right? So there's a lot of unlocking of potentiality that occurs in your methodology, which I was gratified to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's really the first divine light activation is all about that simultaneity of leading and following, of co-creating from equanimity, and that also is being in right relationship with our businesses from that place of equality, from that place of partnership and co-leadership of a larger mission. And that's something that I really think is so powerful and potent as leaders of movements, is that it can feel at times like our missions are so vast that how is it that we can do it? Well, we can't really do it, although we're very capable. There's the aspect of also growing into our multi-dimensionality, or being a light being, embodying our divine selves. so that we're not smaller than our missions or bigger than our missions, that we are really leading as these divine beings in our businesses. So the other thing that I really want to highlight here is that, you know, you had a lot of things in place already. Like you really, you know, about marketing and strategy, and have been working with business coaches and yeah. And so the energetic piece is almost like you talked about, the opening up of the receiving, so that all the physical plane effort and strategy and action is amplified. And that's where we're talking about magnetizing money at the speed of light. We could also be calling this like the power of your field, or being the vortex, or something like that. But is there any last little bit there to connect the dots of how sometimes adding, like with DLA and Magdalene Codes, the energy piece really exponentiates the strategy and the action that you're already taking? Because I know you're not the only one that, and I've experienced it too, like where I've had a business coach and doing all the things, and yet it's just not clicking. And then there's that click, the dominoes all fall into place.
Yeah. Yes. It is, you know, you have a paradigm blindness, right? Like that you don't know what you don't know, right? And you think that you're doing all the things that you've been told to do. And this is not about, like, there's no over or under. What I really liked about stepping into your methodology was that clarified for me, like, you know, we're all equal. But that also means that we're equal in co-creating with the universe as well. Like, so it's not only on our shoulders, it's an equal power partnership, right? And so that dynamic, and then bringing that and applying that to all the things that I had already in place, was the amplification that was required to be at this next level for myself and my two businesses. And it really, and it's the other thing about that is, when you do it with the energy piece, you can stabilize it so much more quickly, which is why when I had that big jump up, it quickly, like, you know, it didn't go back to the prior set point. It was much higher. It was, you know, exponentially higher. And that piece is very, very important to stress to everybody who's considering working with you. And I would highly invite and you know, intrigue everybody to and encourage everybody to look at what is available in your next upcoming program and everything, because just start somewhere, start now, and because you'll thank us later.
Yeah. Well, and that's something I've heard, you know, DLA came in originally in 2016, that I've heard over the years, and I've seen for myself as well, is that it amplifies whatever it is that we've been doing. And so I know sometimes there can be that, like, well, I'm already working with this coach or this mastermind, and is this going to be too much, or is this going to like, is there enough space? And really recognizing that actually it amplifies and allows us to receive what it is that we've been having kind of lining up in the chute already. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good clarification on that point, that you know, I run two businesses. I have a marriage, right? Like, I'm every minute of my day is productive on one level or another. So yes, I did have that concern. How am I going to fit this in? The good news is, you can. There's so many different ways that you can engage with your methodology, and you can just pick whatever it is that works. You know, there's like a kind of a more conscious way, and then there's a step in really into more of the have it happen in the background and more instantaneously, and you can choose whichever can work best for you. Right. And I loved that also about your methodology, that, and it was, for me, it was super effective, obviously, and as is evidenced by the results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. So If you're feeling like you would like to explore Divine Light Activation Business Upgrade, we have another round starting soon, and you can just PM me about that to find the details and explore together if it's an aligned match. So magic happens, Susan, when we come together, and I love playing, and I would love to bring in the Council of Light, the Magdalenes, whoever is going to come play, to really assist in magnetizing money and impact at the speed of light. And desire really amplifies that. So really inviting you, if you're here, there's probably a reason that you're desiring to magnetize more money at the speed of light, that you're desiring to 2x your results, to really hold the possibility of what if what we're about to bring forward right here is an accelerant for that desire. And yet there needs to be that interchange, that you showing up and engaging and choosing to really be accessing what's possible. So is there any other kind of setup before we move into offering magnetizing money at the speed of light co-creation here?
I will just drop in that the universe rewards specificity. So whatever money you desire, get really clear down to the penny, or your currency's equivalent of the penny, when you're putting the amount of money into the magnetization exercise.
Okay, great.
So is it 1 million? Is it 100,000? Is it multi-millions? Whatever it is. And it's your number. It doesn't matter to us nor the universe what number you pick.
Great, thank you. So having that number be clear. Hello, dear ones. This is Thoth, the Magdalene midwives, past, present, and future, and the Council of Seven money beings, including the goddess of money, being of light, moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. And the first energy that we are bringing forward is the energy of play, that money loves speed. And also when you're playing, it cultivates that sense of rapidity. It accelerates. There's a sense of time standing still, and yet also the play energy can move very, very quickly. So whatever that playful exploration, because we know as well, there can be that sense of, oh, this has got to be intense, or I've got to work hard, or all those things which actually are in some ways working against magnetizing money at the speed of light. To just have this be divine play, to have this be divine play, to have this be divine play. So that's the first message that we would bring forward. And Susan, we'd also really love to highlight your unapologetic prosperity energy. So is there anything that you would say about unapologetic prosperity? And then we'll move more into the magnetizing.
Yes, just a reminder that just by breathing, you are worthy of abundant prosperity. It is in your DNA. And that's why when we have surplus and overflow, it feels so juicy good, because it's our natural state. Okay, we're going to move into the magnetization exercise. So get centered and connect with a few breaths. And feel grounded in your power center. And now there's going to be a core energy center in your body. This can be down in the sacral or root area, can be in your solar plexus, can be a bit higher in the heart or even in the third eye. Wherever this power center, this energy, core energy center is in your body, I want you to focus on there now. And as you're focusing on that energy center in your body, see that there is a magnetic coil emanating out in a spiral form from that core energy center. And as it uncoils, it gets bigger and bigger as it goes up. And then notice now that it is spinning in one or the other direction. With whichever direction it's spinning is perfect. And it is magnetic. It is calling in, attracting, generating whatever the money amount is that you were clear on to begin with. What the money, what I call reality, desire is that you wish to have, let's say within the next 30 days and sooner. And as this magnetic coil is still spinning and spinning, it is calling all of that money down to the penny into your bank account. And we know that money comes to us through other people when we serve them. So it is also attracting and magnetizing and generating synergistic opportunities for you to expand your impact, to reach more people, to serve more people, to ask to serve more people. All of that is being magnetized to you. And as you're doing this spinning of the magnetic coil and you're calling it in connection and partnership with that energy and your core energy center, notice there may be a color to that energy exchange. And there may be a symbol that comes forward to you. And those are so you can reconnect back to this magnetization energy and space anytime you wish by focusing on that color and or that symbol. And so we'll just let the energy continue to build a little bit more, expand that coil a little bit more, feel worthy of that money and see it coming into your bank account. Okay, and now the energy is coming to completion. And as you complete the exercise, step forward in the knowledge that the money is in your bank account as if the universe wrote you the check and overnighted you the envelope and you have the tracking number.
Thank you. And as this is coming towards a place of completion, just sprinkling this with a little bit more play energy and see what next step may come to you around a playful way of being. It may be that seemingly unrelated to magnetizing money. It may be playing with your cats or your kids or being in nature. It may be blowing bubbles or just something, getting your hands in the earth, just something playful, Because there's also in the magnetizing money with the speed of light, there's also your relationship with money as a partner, as a being. And there's been so much heaviness in the past overlaid on to the relationship with money to see what if it was more playful, more of a dance. And so as we're wrapping up here, we're stepping aside, and then we'll continue for a few more minutes with some juicy tips as well. Inviting you to rub your palms together, feel your feet on the floor, and swallow a few times to really receive this. All is light and love, and we are all. Wonderful. So Danielle here, moving more in the forefront. Awesome magnetization, very magical. And so two things I'd love to go into. One is that you have this free gift to share with our listeners. So would you share about the free gift, and then we'll go into the second thing.
Okay. So on my website, there is this free gift that you can avail yourself of, and it is called the 7 keys to bring in prosperity keys to bring in more money with ease. And you get 7 immediately hitting, like they're rubber hit the roads tips that you can impact, you can impact your money reality immediately by putting those 7 tips into practice. And then there's an additional bonus of some additional tips and hacks, if you will, for even more prosperity, making sure that that you're aware of all these different ways to invite in and expand into greater and greater levels of prosperity in your life and your business and your money. So that's my pleasure to gift to everyone.
Thank you. And so you can find the link in the show notes to access that as a part of the treasure chest bundle that we have with the 7-Figure Spiritual Leader podcast. And what is your website, Susan?
It's susanglusica.com.
So that's a way that you can connect further with Susan directly. Okay, so as we have a few minutes here left, I'm just feeling drawn, because one of the things that I love and admire about you and your work and what you really bring is that unapologetic prosperity. And I know that both of us really stands for money and having that be in the forefront of the conversation, and that there can be this kind of fuzziness or this like it's taboo or this unwillingness to really kind of be unapologetic when it comes to prosperity, wealth, multi-abundance, and yet specifically money. So is there anything that you would share about kind of shedding some of that, or the reasons why it's important to be unapologetic, to be talking about money, to really be tracking it and those kinds of things, because it can be scary?
Well, what I will first say is what's required is that you get clear on what you believe about money, because belief shapes reality, right? So that's usually the first thing we do. And once you do that, you realize why it's so important to first make it about the money. Because unless you make it about the money, how do you know what level of service is going to equate to that level of money or that specific money amount? You don't. So it is required to have unapologetic prosperity. It is required that you make it all about the money first. Now, I will caveat this with detachment, right? We prefer, this is a very highly evolved way of talking about this. We prefer prosperity, unapologetic prosperity, and therefore lots of money. But I'm not attached. If I don't make a money goal, there's no attachment to it. I prefer certain levels of money and a very specific level of money. And that's what I will always take the action toward. I'm ready and willing and grateful for whatever the universe gives to me in exchange. And that can be, something different than expected, which is why I don't have expectations or even goals or desires that way. I have preferences. It releases us from that attachment, right? So yes, specificity, as I mentioned before, the universe rewards specificity. So you get to be specific about the money that you want, which then allows you to reverse engineer into the level of service required. And then through working with someone like Danielle, you get the courage and the energetic support to step into those higher and higher levels of service in highly efficient ways. Because when you lead with your energy, that's 90%, then it only requires about 10% of action. So it's highly leveraged.
Beautiful. Thank you. And there was about 18 ninja tips rolled into that. I love that. The preferences and the non-attachment. So as we're wrapping up here, any final words for our 7-Figure Spiritual Leader podcast family and community?
Yeah, I applaud each and every one of you for the awesome mission that you are bringing out into the world. I will hold big space for your unapologetic prosperity.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan, for your willingness to share your case study, your experience of working together, and for co-creating this extraordinary 7-Figure Spiritual Leader podcast. And awesome. Many blessings.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.